But other than your tabla, you're passionate about it, is there any other subject that really you want to talk more about it?
I do want to bring up a certain issue regarding the unemployment situation at this point. Why? Because I feel that that is an umbrella situation. It is affecting the housing, it's affecting immigration, it's affecting everything. And unemployment at this point has definitely gone so pervasive to the point that it's affecting everyone. Bankruptcies are on the rise, foreclosures are on the rise, unprecedented since the Great Depression. And if President Obama can do something about this job creation situation, he will be on par with FDR. And I don't mean that as a pun or as a tagline, but it's true, because FDR was that kind of a president where he was able to be creative. He created the Tennessee Valley Authority. He created all these jobs because at that point he needed to recultivate the nation. And I think that President Obama needs to definitely follow up on this situation, get so creative with jobs. And that's the thing. It's not, I mean, I think that in a way technology may have reduced certain jobs, but then there are so many other ideas that need cultivation and they need employment. I mean, I think the people are out there, the ideas are out there. It's just a matter of connecting the two.
You know, I want to tell you, folks, last week I read in the paper that the tire manufacturing in the United States of America is going out. 17% of tires are being imported from China is because they're cheap. Now, yes, of course they're cheap because they don't make that much money over there comparing to here. What I haven't understood is, what is this WTO trying to tell us? That you cannot stop importation of these cheap goods. Take a look at their salary, take a look at the salary of the Americans. I don't understand that portion of it. Why can we not make sure that America produces at least 80% of everything, including underwear and socks, which they do about 10% now?
I think the situation is that the labor in, let's say, these other nations like China and India, they have more population, they have more of a labor force who's also willing to work harder, who's also willing to work longer hours, who are not as invested in the daily life care, health care situation. They're not really looking towards the quality of life because they are struggling to survive. So they are willing to, let's say, take the menial jobs, and produce those raw materials into finished products, which then will be brought over to this nation. USA has become, they want to be more life work oriented. They want a balance. And so we are compromising perhaps maybe where maybe we should be working 20-hour days. We are preferring to cut to the 8-hour days and maybe spend those 4 hours with our children to educate them, to then cultivate them to future musicians or future doctors or lawyers or IT. And therefore, that's what's happening, is that in the other countries, it seems as though they are more workforce driven versus America or the other Western cultures where they are more life-work balance.
That was very well said, yes. But somehow, nations have to sustain themselves. And you cannot sustain if you do not manufacture things. You've got to have a manufacturing base. Moving on, folks, there's an interesting story from Fortune magazine where it tells us the women up in New York City not looking at investment bankers anymore. They want the good old doctors and the lawyers and the engineers. These are the pretty ones. These are the educated ones. That's what they're looking for. Somehow they're saying investment banker is overgraded now.
In my opinion, I think that women should always look for substance, no matter what. I mean, it doesn't have to deal with money. It doesn't have to deal with, religion or professions or whatnot. when looking for a soulmate, they shouldn't be profession-based. They should be partner-based. They should be dependability-based. And so I think the reason why, if some women were, let's say, moving on from investment bankers, maybe those women were attracted at that time maybe to the money or to the flashy cars or whatnot. But now they're seeing that, or maybe the investment bankers made it that attractable that they're like, let's check this out of curiosities. Again, back to the curiosity factors. However, I think that women are definitely coming away from that money factor, because many women are pursuing professions, many substantial professions, where they're just not into that flashiness anymore, because sometimes it's just better to grow your own vegetables than to go get them. And so therefore, women are definitely pursuing other substantial qualities in a man than just a profession.
Yes. Now, have you ever seen a show called Millionaire Matchmaker?
I must admit I have not.
I have.
On the list to do.
I have seen it. Basically what it is, folks, this company, they only handle millionaires, men and women, and they will get them a spouse 24/7. They work for them, and they get them the right woman. They get them an array of choices, and then you select. And it seems like every episode she hits a bingo. I mean, it always fits. I have not seen or heard of a show where she says, okay, I engaged 100 of them, successful with 75 of them, and 65 of them are still married. I mean, I haven't seen the stats, but that is something I would like to see.
I agree in the sense that if you remember way back when in our own cultures, there is the matchmaker situation where, you have the old community member who will then go and say, hey, I know this guy, I know this girl, and, they seem to be matching up and whatnot. They even may be non-vegetarian or vegetarian, and so therefore, if it looks compatible, do it. But and if there's if the professions work out, great. If the cultures work out, great. You're always going to have the adjustability factors. You're always going to have the compatibility factors.
In India, those are Brahmins who do that. Pandits who do that.
There are experiences.
And you can always give Pandit a little bigger tip.
Absolutely.
And he'll get you from the from the high rent district, a spouse. I mean, that's what you're looking for, and that's what these guys are doing. At certain point, the young ones are busy. They don't have time, and the bars is not the best place to pick up a spouse. So totally this may be a good way of actually going after it, particularly if your parents are not in town to help you.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that then brings up another situation of these social networking medias. Let's say the Match.coms, the eHarmonies, whatnot. If you really think about their origins, they do go back to the old matchmaker community situation where, the parents or even the person, the marriageable person would then ask the other person, ask the parents, or the parents would then ask the community member, hey, would you look for a person for me based on these criteria, XYZ, and hopefully just come up, you can't microwave a person. However, you can definitely, find the qualities that you're looking for. Then, of course, from that evolved the India Broads, the newspaper classifieds, the biodata profiles and everything else. However, I think that there's many similarities as well as these many other ideas coming from the old world cultures, coming to America thinking, hey, this works. These India Broad classifieds are now evolving into the Suleikas, into the eHarmonies, matchmakers, whatnot. And if they just bring it up a notch to Fortune magazine where it's a millionaire matchmaker, go for it.
Coming up next, folks, is our In Conversation with two candidates running for the office of Attorney General in the state of Virginia. Steve Shannon, who's a Democratic candidate, and Ken Cuccinelli is the Republican candidate, and they are both being interviewed by Imran Chaudhry, who has kindly consented to be a guest interviewer on this show. And I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. I totally enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure, Ramesh.
Thank you very much. And, folks, that's about all we have for you. We wish you a very great start to fall. Namaste.